What's going on, y'all? Fort Worth Fabian, man. Back again with a video, man. Be sure to like the video, comment down below. Let me know y'all styles. Peace, love, prosperity. Everybody out there rocking with the channel, man. Subscribe. Let's go ahead and hop right into the video.
This is Kamala Harris, the shadow president of the United States.
The shadow
Since
president.
Joe Biden's replacement on the Democrat ticket, VP Kamala has yet to do a sit-down interview with a news outlet or even give a press conference. Instead, she's hit the road, giving the same exact speech over and over again.
While our economy is doing well by many measures,
Bruh.
prices for everyday things like groceries are still too high.
She got that nasally type of voice.
Because look, while our economy is doing well by many measures, prices for everyday things like groceries are still too high. While our economy is doing well by many measures, prices for everyday things like groceries are still too high. While our economy is doing well by many measures, prices for everyday things like groceries are still too high. You know it and I know it. 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 You know it and I know it.
Wow.
Yes, we do know that prices are high, and we also know why they're high. It's because of inflation caused by the massive spending of the Biden-Harris administration. A perfect example of this is the Inflation Reduction Act. Joe Biden recently celebrated its 2-year anniversary in a post on X. The bill allocated $783 billion to climate change funding and had nothing to do with reducing inflation. It should be noted that not a single Republican voted for the so-called Inflation Reduction Act because they knew it wouldn't lower inflation. So with the Senate split 50-50, Vice President Kamala Harris cast the tie-breaking vote.
On this vote, the yeas are 50, the nays are 50. The Senate being equally divided, the Vice President votes in the affirmative, and the bill, as amended, is passed.
On a side note, the woman Joe Biden is sitting next to in this picture is named China Tai, who is originally from the Bay Area in California. But Joe Biden heard her name and got confused.
My name is China Tai. I'm a 2019 UC Riverside graduate.
And a public-private partnership that's harnessing the nature of our ability to do what this young woman in China did.
Bruh. Bruh just lost train of thought, lost train of memory. Yeah, it was a smart idea for Buddy to take a back seat. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, just, they don't call him Sleepy Joe for no reason, bro.
81 million votes, guys.
Building up the middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency. When our middle class is strong, America is strong. And we know that's not the future Donald Trump is fighting for.
And Kamala's campaign is defined by overpromises, platitudes, and lies.
It's a dog-eat-dog
about
world.
Donald Trump. I mean, can you blame her? It's all she has at this point.
Duh.
She certainly can't run on her vice presidential record. So nearly a month after becoming the presumptive Democrat presidential nominee, Kamala Harris gave remarks on her economic policy, and it did not go well at all.
Hey, what's the lesser of the two evils? Hillary Clinton or Kamala? Like, comment down below. Who would you rather prefer in presidency? Hillary or Kamala, bruh? I know it's going to be a tough one for y'all, but hey, the worst of the two evils, man. If you had to choose.
Bread cost 50% more today than it did before the pandemic. Ground beef is up almost 50%.
Gee, Kamala, thank you for reminding us how much cheaper things were under the Trump administration.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
When I am elected president, I will make it a top priority to bring down costs and increase economic security for all Americans. As president, I will take on the high costs that matter most to most Americans.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. Being in a, running in a presidential race, right? It's just make stuff sound good. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially if your pedigree is not from that background and you're not knowledgeable on, certain practices, economics. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is how Trump sounded to me when he first was running, because he came from such a business acumen that a lot of the stuff that he was catering to or trying to use as an argument just sounded very generic. He wasn't specific. You're like, man, our economy is going to be better. I'm going to make America safer. Let's make America great again. As an American, you'll be happier. We're going to make stuff cheaper in America. It'll be a safer place for you to live. I'm not going to let them take all their jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like, very generic. If you got the funds to, be able to back the campaign and, if you got the popular vote, you solid, bro. Like, honestly, it's just about being a yes man. And I'm going to do better for our country. Yeah. Yeah. But it's night and day. Seeing Trump now, bro, got a whole type of repertoire. You know what I'm saying? Dude, just different. Like, it's just different. He really on it. Because obviously he went through the 4 years of experience acting as president. But when he first came in, bro, go back to them earlier videos, his debates was so generic. Like, but that's how Kamala sound. That's my point. She sound very green.
Cost of food.
So Kamala Harris,
we're gonna make
part
food
of the
cheaper.
Biden-Harris administration, which is the current administration, is gonna make you wait for her to be elected before she does her job. Fucking clown world.
Yep. Hey, I just realized his shirt, bro. That shirt hard. That shirt hard. The clown world we live in. I can't tell you how many times I use that phrase, bro. So damn, this shirt tough. Where can I buy this, buddy? The clown world, day and age.
Harris-Biden administration was the cause of the inflation. VP Kamala blames greedy corporations.
Many of the big food companies are seeing their highest profits in 2 decades. And while many grocery chains pass along these savings, others still aren't.
First off, which grocery chains are ripping off customers? Well, she wouldn't say, because she couldn't say.
No one's ever proven price gouging. No one even knows what price gouging actually is. What Kamala Harris Democrats don't understand is that rising prices don't cause inflation. Inflation causes rising prices. And inflation is too much money chasing too few goods, all of which devalues the money in your wallets and pocketbooks.
And Larry Kudlow is right. There is no price gouging. If Democrats want to find a source of high prices, they only need to look in the mirror. But instead, they'll blame everyone else.
And I will work to pass the first
no accountability.
Ever
what do you
federal
expect?
ban on price gauging on food.
Price gauging. She's so bad at this that she didn't even realize that she said it wrong. I guess whatever Joe Biden has is contagious. Sad, really.
The dummy
this
syndrome.
whole baloney about price gouging and excess profits and corporate greed, it's the longtime hallmark of the distant far left, and it pops up every now and then and is laughed out of the room. We don't hear about it for a long time. Prediction, it's going to happen again, this time around. Laughed out of the room.
But it's already being laughed at. The Washington Post's editorial board published this piece titled, "The Times Demands Serious Economic Ideas. Harris Supplies Gimmicks."
When you
Price
really think
gouging-
about it, a majority of the voting body, right, or the people are very... the people ain't going to be 1,000, but they're not that educated. They're very ignorant, bro. I'm ignorant to politics. I don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, but through making my rounds, through looking at content, reading, researching, of course you get an understanding. But coming up, I wasn't on no politics expertise. The natural American isn't hip and privy to, economics. With that being said, it's always a popular vote. You know what I'm saying? You could ask the average American why he liked Donald Trump. They're going to say, America, make America great again. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to be on some, well, you know what I'm saying? They're going, I was finna go on a tangent, but they're not going to list out very particular statistics in reference to benefits and turnarounds from slumps that have affected the country. You know what I mean? They're just going to be like, well, but Trump is going to make America great. You ask them same thing about Kamala. Oh, our first black female president. They don't look at the resume and the credibility. Like, let's keep it a stack. You have a limited Americans who choose to really understand the issues and what's going on with the country. It's just a popular vote. I want a black president. I want a female black president. Trump, America. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, ain't nobody really digging into the real depths. You know what I'm saying? Like,
is not causing inflation.
Let's keep it 1,000.
Why is the vice president promising to stamp it out? Man, when you lose the Washington Post. Miss Harris says she'll target companies that make excessive profits, whatever that means. It's hard to see how groceries, a notoriously low-margin business, would qualify. So everyone from the Washington Post to the New York Times to the Wall Street Journal agree that there is no price gouging. It's a canard, i.e., complete bullshit. Here's Stu Leonard Jr. from the grocery store chain Stu
He finna break it down.
I don't
go,
know
Stu.
anybody that's price gouging. I don't know how the government's going to be able to control that. Insurance costs are going up, fuel costs. I talked to our farmers. They're struggling with energy costs and diesel costs. The Ukraine war that's happening over there has affected a lot of grain prices in the U.S. Those have gone up. Look what's happened to labor costs right now. Look at California, $20 an hour. Our rate at Stu Leonard's has gone from $17 an hour up to $22 over the last 3 years.
In other words, because of the supply chain and inflation, everything costs more. Production, materials, labor, shipping, even electricity to keep the refrigerators cold and the lights on. And that means that those costs are passed down to the consumer.
Look, I know most businesses are creating jobs, contributing to our economy, and playing by the rules. But some are not. And that's just not right. And we need to take action.
Some are not, and that's just not right. Bro, a direct correlation of inflation would be less and less opportunity for jobs. You know what I mean? Because if labor is naturally being paid out at a higher cost, like, come on, dog, do the math. I know a lot of places or people that work at certain entities talking about they're on hiring freezes. Why do you think that is? Just because? Like, come on, bro. Like, everything she's saying is very people-friendly and generic, you know? To the unseen eye, he just like, oh, yeah, Kamala. It's like, bruh.
Action when that is the case.
And that action, ladies and gentlemen, would be good old-fashioned communist-style price controls.
The first ever federal ban on price gouging on food and groceries. Really just price controls dressed up as price controls. In other words, to quote Churchill, a sheep in sheep's clothing.
Facts.
And price controls never work. They didn't work in the Soviet Union in the 1980s. They haven't worked in Venezuela in over 2 decades. And they definitely didn't work in the United States under President Richard Nixon.
Federal government tried it in the 1970s, Senator. You know, it didn't end well. And economists across the political spectrum say it's a bad idea.
Well, let's be clear. I know Kamala Harris believes in the free market. What she put out in her proposals includes tax incentives for us to increase the production of housing. And yes, reductions in the prices that seniors pay for prescription drugs. I don't think there's anything communist about wanting to make housing more affordable and prescription drugs more affordable.
And even Harris-Walls campaign co-chair Senator Chris Coons is smart enough to know that price controls are a bad idea. So he tried to pivot to anything else. But Shannon Bream never gives up that easily.
But specifically to the issue of price gouging, if you're setting prices, a lot of people feel like that is communist in nature. Housing aside, let's talk about price gouging and price controls.
Shannon, presidents of both parties have tried to use the power of the FTC to rein in high prices at the pump, high prices at grocery stores. I think picking this one proposal of the many she's put out misses the broader point.
So Shannon Bream asked about price controls, and Chris Coons' answer was, why are you asking me about this specific Kamala policy? And Shannon Bream asked about it because the majority of responses to Kamala Harris's price control scheme were overwhelmingly negative. My favorite of these responses came from Larry Bell of Newsmax. Kamala's tools to fix broken economy, hammer and scissors.
Has South Park already had a field day with Kamala? Because this just looked like... Remember that show that came out on Comedy Central back in the day called Lil Bill? Not Lil Bill, it's called Lil Bush or something. It was George W. Bush. And, and they had like the big heads, and it was like them as kids. Lil Bush or whatever. I don't know what it was called, bro. That shit was funny, bro. They need to make some type of satire around this right here, bro. Hilarious gold. And I already know South Park's got some. Do they still even make new seasons of South Park? I don't know, bro.
Washington Post opinion columnist Catherine Rampell offered the following advice to VP Kamala. When your opponent calls you communist, maybe you don't propose price controls.
Nobody can explain what price gouging means. It's like that old line about pornography. I know it when I see it. In the sense that, what does it mean to have an excessive price or an excessive profit margin? That seems to be shorthand for a price or a profit margin that bugs me. That seems too high.
And Fox Business points out that in 2023, the average grocery industry profit margin was 1.6%. Compare that to, say, the 46% profit margin on an iPhone 15 and 15 Pro.
Damn.
So the question is, how will it be determined who is supposedly price gouging and who isn't?
Well, that's kind of just based on, I mean, that's a myth at this point, but damn, it's just all about demand, man. You know what I'm saying? Like in this tech industry or this tech era that we live in, to where people are finna pay to the dollar for, you know, iPhones and the iWatch or whatever they want to pay for. That's just material. It's just, you know, another man trash, another man treasure. Like, you know, does beauty in the eye of the beholder even relate to that? Does that phrasing even relate? But it's basically like, what are you willing to pay top dollar for? That's the thing, bro. And we're really comparing apples to oranges at this point, because, like, they're not the same industries. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, that's a good question when you really think about it. And that comparison is like, well, damn. 46% margin, bruh.
It's not going to be markets. It's not going to be
them boys is cashing out. R.I.P. Steve Jobs. You feel me?
How much your grocery store charges you for milk or for eggs. It's going to be some bureaucrat in D.C., which seems like totally unworkable for the FTC to be deciding like how much Kroger charges for eggs in Michigan. But it also would be very bad for markets. We've seen this kind of thing tried in lots of other countries before: Venezuela, Argentina, the Soviet Union, etc. It leads to shortages. It leads to black markets. You know,
facts.
Plenty of uncertainty.
And VP Kamala's anti-price gouging proposal proves two things. A, Kamala Harris is an economic illiterate with zero understanding of basic economics.
That's what it sounds like.
That she is not a serious person and has no business running the country. Please make sure you're registered to vote, guys. And as the Washington editorial board wrote, whether the Harris proposal wins over voters remains to be seen, but if sound economic analysis still matters, it won't.
Bruh, that's kind of gone out the window a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not that, but we live in a day and age to where it's like the buffoonery never ceases to exist. Pure clown world. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, like I said earlier, bruh, it's really just about people wanting to see like some type of revolutionary change. You know, oh, we got a black female president. You know what I'm saying? Like, is it really that revolutionary? I don't know. I mean, not the detriment of the country. But, you know, but what I'm talking about is things being different. I mean, Trump made it into office. People thought he wasn't going to make it into office. People thought he was going to be a failure. But, I mean, the numbers show otherwise, right? And it's shown naturally if you come in with business acumen, it can naturally apply to the economics of the country. You know what I'm saying? Bruh know what he doing. So, like, what are we paying attention to? The numbers, the statistics, or are we looking at who likes somebody better? Or, oh man, she half black, I'm voting for her because she black. You know what I'm saying? Like, or just because Trump a Republican, America. Yeah, it's like, bro, like, folks need to really educate themselves. You know what I'm saying? I hold myself accountable as well, but it's like, bro, we live in a country to where people aren't really, there's a certain minority of individuals who are actually voting for actual reasons that, you know, can, putting people in office that can actually have a positive impact on the country versus who you like. You know what I mean? So comment down below, man. Let me know y'all's thoughts. Peace, love, prosperity. God bless, man. We'll see y'all in the next one. We out.